us. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening, based on your time zone or what time frame you might be catching this recording. It's such a joy to be with you. Hi, friends. It's the very end of May as we move into this end of last week of May. So looking forward to being here with you guys. Hi, friends. Nice to see you. Hi, Allison. Hi, Jess. If you're here with us live, say hello in the chat box. Just would love to see you as you're popping into our Zoom room and joining the Share Success call. Hi, friends. I'm joined here. My co-pilot today is Janelle. If you guys want to say hi to Janelle and welcome her. As the Goddards are traveling this week and the next couple of weeks, it's so fun for them. I'm so looking forward to hearing about their adventures. I was at their home on Monday for Memorial Day and just some of our friends and a nice, lovely, and their cute kids, and just a gorgeous day welcoming summer, right? At their beautiful home and pool. And we had a beautiful day and just time connecting and catching up as friends. So it's a joy to be with them. And they send their wishes. They've been traveling through the night as they're off to some fun adventures, including the presidential trip over in Bali. They're spending the first part of this next time with their own family. And so I'm excited for them to have some good family time and the presidential trip. So, friends, you get Tiff Peterson this morning here on this lovely Wednesday. And I'm also going to be joining you guys next week as well. So, we're going to do a double decker like the old days where I was with you every single week. We're going to pull back a little bit of time together and this week and next. So, it's a joy to be with you. Hi, friends. Hi, Craig. Hello. Hi, Chaz. Hi, friends. Good morning. Hi, Becky. Hi, Erin. Hi, Laura Ann. Good morning. Hi, Jennifer. So fun to be with you guys. Hi, friends. Hi, Linda. Hi, Shelly. Yes. Oh, good. Shelly says, I just made up some glow blend yesterday. I'm going to be doing that today myself as I'm on the tail end of my own glow blend. For those of you that are new or haven't been here very often, or this is a new concept for you, I love creating my own skincare glow blend with the doTERRA essential oils. That's what Shelly's referring to. So if you want me to share what's in the glow blend, let me know that in the chat box. I'm happy to share that. Jess, I know you just posted that link, although I'm not sure that link is the accurate version of what I post or share in my glow blend. But part of how, like, my skin, when people regularly like, oh my gosh, how does your skin look so amazing? There's a few things that I do, and there's a few spa treatments and things that I like. But in my daily essentials, morning and night, I use the glow blend. And so that's something, if you'd like for me to, you guys to share, some of you are saying yes, I'll go ahead and share that with you. But what I do is I have gosh, I wish I had it with me, but it's like you can use a Yarrow Palm size bottle, right? Like Yarrow Palm. And in the beginning, I just used an empty Yarrow Palm bottle. But now I bought some off Amazon that are that same size. So what is that, like 2 ounce, maybe 3 ounce? And for me, I do about 20-ish, so somewhere probably between 20 to 22 drops of Yarrow Palm, and then around 20-ish, same thing, drops of frankincense. And then I utilize probably 4 or 5 drops, less for sure, 4 or 5 drops of blue tansy. Blue tansy is a rock star for your skin, right? So incredible. And a little goes a long way. Too much of that stuff and you look like a Smurf, right? You look blue, that Smurfness. But I use a little, like 4, 5, 6 maybe drops, right, of blue tansy. And then I use probably around 12-ish drops of copaiba that I put in again. So this concoction. And then if you have rose oil or rose touch, right, then I'm going to add 1 or 2 or 3 drops of rose touch to that concoction as well. So again, you have yarrow plum, frankincense, blue tansy, copaiba, rose. Sometimes though, if rose, I'll put rose touch on my face with rose on itself, but most often than not, I add it. And then I top off the rest with an oil that is called oh my goodness. See, I haven't talked about this for a bit. I just do it on repetition, but this organic rose hip oil tops off the rest of that bottle, which is most of it. And then kind of just shake it just a little bit. And there's your glow blend. Yes, that's it. Larianne said organic Pura Dior rosehip oil. Yes, is what I'm putting on my skin my Glow Blend morning and night. It's so good for your skin. It feels amazing. And I just would remind us, ladies and gents, both, you also want to put it on your neck and your décolletage, like, just cover this top. That's sometimes we just do the face and it's like, let's remember this part of our skincare routine as well. So anyway, not that that was what I was planning on sharing with you guys this morning, but thank you, Shelley, for that reminder. And I know many of you have heard me share that in the past, but some of you have not. So there you have it. I'm not going to gatekeep that, right? It's like, hey, I'm not going to tell you what's in it. I'm going to tell you what's in it. So I love these oils. I love these products, and I love how they help our bodies, our minds, right? They help support us. But good morning. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing this morning? I'm going to invite you to grab a blank piece of paper, a journal, a notebook, something of that nature. You want to have that handy. But start thinking about what it is that might be up for you that you'd like support with. The question I want you to be percolating on is thinking about, what would I like to see progress today? Or where am I feeling stuck? Where would I like support? Maybe it's more personally related, maybe it's more business related, right? But what's up for you? And start thinking about that so I can support you. But as we come into the end of May, I'd invite you to create some time between today and the next few days. We hit June 1st on Sunday. And I always like to do a little reflection towards the end of a month and beginning of a month, and having you think about and reflect on, what are some of my wins and victories for the month of May, right? That might be a great question for you to write down. But just thinking about some of your wins and victories for May. What are some things you've seen progress? Just inviting you to consider that for yourself, is just reviewing. And then secondly, looking at, what was one of my life lessons this month? What's life trying to teach me? What's life wanting to teach you? What are some of your life lessons or life lesson this month? And what we're doing initially is we're just going to do a little reflection, and then we'll pop into some coaching. And then the third one I think is always valuable, is to consider, been my biggest distraction this May? And moving forward, how can I help navigate that? Some of our things are seasonal, right? Like there's many of my mom friends that call May Maycember, right? Like similar to December, there's like so many, you've got graduations and end of school programs and field trips and all of these things that are happening, right? How many of you, I'm just curious, still have kids, that are school age? And are your kids out of school yet? Have they wrapped up yet? Or maybe that's this week or next week. Some of you, how many of you are dealing with that, right? Some of you I know not, but there's many of you that can relate to that, where it's just like, oh my goodness. So sometimes our distractions, again, are seasonal, right? Like, oh my goodness, there's just a lot going on with all of these activities and things. But for some of you, it might be like, oh, my biggest distraction is I've let clutter pile up in my home or my office. I've got too much paper or too much stuff. I need to declutter a space. Some of you might be feeling that distraction is really like, oh, creating this energy. There's this gal that I follow on a social media platform where she's talking a lot about how, with clutter and how that clogs up your energy, clogs up your wealth flow, it clogs up your creative flow. And so if clutter's up for any of you, it's definitely, we're in the season of spring and moving into, here in the next few weeks, summer, but maybe that's something that in the next week or two, you really put some intention behind, is decluttering your space, decluttering your technology, decluttering your closet, your pantry, you name it. But just the potency of that, where we are, I love to study all kinds of things. And in the Chinese calendar year, we're in a snake year, which has a lot to do with shedding and letting go of the old. Any of you feeling like you're doing a lot of shedding this year, right? Releasing old beliefs, releasing old systems, releasing, um, again, literal physical clutter. But she talks about how the need for that, according to the numerology, we're also in what's called a 9 year. So a 9 and a snake year. Like you guys, I just see some of these things, but it makes a lot of sense, where a 9 year is also a completion year. And so there's a lot of energy up supposedly around. And whether we believe in those direct things or not, it's also always a healthy check-in, is how much flow is my space in? How much flow is my mind in? Is there a lot of clutter in my mind? Is there a lot of clutter in my physical space? Am I feeling like, because again, clutter just blocks flow. That's what it does. It blocks flow of wealth, it blocks flow of resource, it blocks flow of joy. And it's not that, again, we have to live in these perfected, like sterile environments, especially those of you that have kids. And some of you are saying last day is Thursday this week for school kids, right? Like school is out. Yes, like some of you are navigating that, even if, if some of you got littles in your life and there's just a lot of stuff and or things happening or movement, or even if it's just you and your fur babies, the reality of guess what? Sometimes it's not about perfect, but is there a good flow that you're feeling in your space? And Ashley's asking, when you share the account you follow regarding the clutter, I couldn't even tell you her name. It's just someone on a Threads account. If you want to ask me in my DMs on social when we're out of this, because I run my own social, I'll find you the account and send it to you. So if you'll want really, I'm happy to find that. Just pop in my DMs and then I'll be like, this is the account, because I couldn't even tell you her name. It's just someone I've been following for a bit on Threads that is sharing that. And so again, what I'm asking you is one of your reflection questions is, where am I distracted? For some of you, you might find that you're scrolling so much, just mindlessly. You're on your phone a whole lot versus intentionally with, where do I want to be, utilizing my time? And then as we move into June, I'm going to invite you, I'm going to recover some of this. I'm going to talk about intentions next week, our first week of June. But I do think it's valuable to start thinking about, what do I want to create in June or in this season? And friends, the thing about summer is it's such a fun time, right? I love summer. Some of my close friends call me Summer Tiff, is that, there's just like a lot of play that tends to happen in the summertime. That's true, but it also can be a very intentional time of what you want to nourish, both in relationships and in your business. It's really a powerful time of a lot of time, often for connections and meeting up with folks. And that's the heartbeat of your business. 2 weeks ago, I was in Newport Beach. I was speaking at a conference and was sharing on the people business. The title of my keynote was called The People Business, and the subtitle was called, which I love this phrase, if you want to write this for me in your notes, is that your connection equals your currency. Your connection is your currency. That's the heartbeat of your business, is how well nourished am I in connection? Are you a great connector? Are you intentional about that? Now, friends, what I love about this topic is being a great connector and in connection is it isn't something like you have to have a certain profile on StrengthsFinder or a certain human design or a certain astrological birth chart. Is all of us are in the people business, and it's just simply about, I want to be more intentional to show up and add value to people. I want them to feel seen and valued and significant. I mean, that's your true business card, is how do other people feel in your presence? How do people feel with you, right? And it's like, do they feel seen? Do they feel valued? Do they feel significant? I remember years ago reading an interview with Mary Kay Ash, which hope all of you just send up a token of gratitude to Mary Kay Ash, because she was quite a trailblazer to the business that you're in today. She was one of the early pathfinders, trailblazers to creating an at-home business, right? What we now call network marketing or direct sales. But the ability to sell Mary Kay cosmetics and skincare and her line, right, as she started to develop that, of being able to work from home and to have your own business where you didn't have to invest $200,000 to be part of a franchise or something. It's like your initial entry fees, right? And to get some product and to start moving that. Well, Mary Kay Ash would say this. She would say, imagine as if everyone you meet has a sign around their neck, and that sign says, do I matter to you? Do I matter to you? Is again part of life, and is any business you're in. If you're a real estate agent, I was recently speaking to a top producers real estate or realtors mastermind, everyone in the room. The thing that was so cool about that event, you guys, is you couldn't buy into the room. You couldn't pay in to be the mastermind. You had to be a top producer and be invited into this mastermind that was here I spoke at a couple weeks ago. And these are all real estate agents, right? So whether you're a realtor, a real estate agent, You're an essential oil wellness advocate. You're growing a business in doTERRA. You run a corner bakery, right? You're a fellow coach like myself in the coaching and speaking and training support business. You're an author. You're a school principal. It's like no matter what your quote role is we're all in the people business. And part of how you help grow a thriving business is you make people your business and you start focusing more intentionally. Now, what I'm sharing with you today isn't necessarily new, but I'm intentionally sharing it with you to bring you back to the potency of it and your own intentionality that you can choose to show up this week, this month, this summer with intentionality to say, I really want to nourish my network the next 90 days. That even if people are traveling or out and about and so forth, or summer and things like that, that it's one of those things that you're actively nourishing relationships. So even if you're at the pool, right? I mean, I was at the Goddard's pool 2 days ago, spending time with them and our connection and our relationship, as well as some of our other friends. And some I know, some are close and connected, some I don't know as well, but getting to know them more so, right? It's just spending time in connection, asking those questions. Hey, how are you? And thinking about you and follow-ups and texts. And let's do a walk and talk. Let's grab gelato. Let's do a barbecue and have family or friends or our team leaders over. Or let's get on Zoom and let's, have lemonade together type of a thing. And let's connect. What matters is you're nourishing your connections and that you're nourishing those relationships. Now, that's going to be true all year round, right? But I'm just bringing you into intentional, to be intentional. What do you want to create this summer? Again, we're going to recover or look at this again next Wednesday as well. But I just wanted you to, as we're wrapping up May, the next couple of days, getting really clear on a couple of things. Again, I'll rattle those off for you. Number one is, what were your wins and victories? How you progressed, what's new and good, what are some of the positives, and it's important to celebrate those from your month of May. Number two is looking at what was a life lesson this month, right? What was life wanting to teach you? And I'm just curious, would you be willing to share that in the chat box? What was life wanting to teach you in the month of May? Yeah, some of you, that lesson. I love Chaz is saying, I'm needing to declutter some areas in my home, and thanks for the gentle reminder about how it can block flow. I didn't know this, right? Just thinking about if everything's energy, your energy, Chaz, I'm energy, your home has an energy, right? Just energy and flow, and thinking about the conversation of or intentionality about, okay, gosh, how that can then block energy, right? And what it does for me often is like when things are cluttered for me, is like if I enter that room or I see that space or I see that clutter, it's just that then my mind is distracted, right? Like I might be like, oh my gosh, I'm creating this amazing masterpiece in my mind. And I'm like in this creative flow. And then I see, this clutter. And it's like, wait, now I've got to, oh, okay. And it's just creates sometimes disruption. Now, again, I'm also not going to tell y'all that do I have to live in or do you have to live in perfected, again, like sterile space? No. But you know how you feel, right? Like, when your bedroom is clean or your bed's made or fresh, clean sheets, or when your refrigerator is clean and organized. Like, how much that feels like, okay, I feel. You literally can feel an energetic shift, can't you? Right. So for some of you, again, that was number two, is what lesson? Or number three is looking at, so again, number two is what life lesson have you been learning? And I'm seeing some of you share this. I love this. Number three is like, where was I where was my biggest distraction in the month of May? And how do I want to help navigate that moving forward as we go into the next few weeks or next few months, right? Thinking about that. And then you can already start thinking about what are some of your goals or intentions personally and for your business as we move into the next couple of weeks and months again. So again, if you want to share what lesson that you've been learning, I'd love to hear it. I love Jeannie says that I'm not in control, potency of surrender. And coming into when that's such a good lesson, isn't it, Jeannie? Is like, okay, but what can I control has everything to do with my response, how I show up, right? How I'm nourishing myself, my mind, my spirit, my body. Some of you are learning, Kim says, learning to move forward with patience. I love that. Brenda saying consistency with asking questions every day and reaching out to people. Yeah, that's a great lesson, Jennifer. I love that. Yep. Lesson that I don't have to have things perfect in life to move forward. Yes. Am I willing to take imperfect action? I run a month-to-month membership. If you guys are interested in this, it is a potent group where we meet every single week and we do a hybrid every month between we have a monthly workshop, we have a guest teacher, we do a live coaching Q&A, and then we do monthly intention setting. And that right now we currently have around 30, 35 recordings in a content-rich library. Everything from how do I, develop great branding for my business? How do I tell people what do I do? To how do I close more sales? To how do I work through my mindset? And how do I set great vision and goals or work through limiting beliefs? Right? So this community is called Thrive. If you're interested, you find that at tiffanyspeaks.com/thrive. But why I'm sharing that is something that when you're talking about, right, we just had a workshop last week that lit the whole community on fire. It's about 150 people, all different kinds of industries. I have had some people link up and do business together. So it could be a network where maybe you have new clients come out of this community. Because again, it's like you have a wide mix represented there all over the US and a handful international as well. Again, that community is called Thrive, and you find that at tiffanyspeaks.com/thrive. Your first month is half off, so you can kind of take it for a test drive. It's month to month. You can cancel whenever you want. You won't want to, but it's a potent thing. Well, what I'm sharing is last week we did a custom workshop called The Law of Momentum and how to put yourself into momentum and the potency of that. And so when Chaz said that is, I don't have to have things perfect in life to move forward and get started. I can learn as I go. So true. Is the potency of the question that we were talking about is, am I willing to take imperfect action? That's such a great lesson. Am I willing to take imperfect action? And the willingness to move things forward versus, again, like you're saying, the challenge where we get stuck sometimes is, oh, I might need to show up perfect, right? And you go, yeah, that's going to keep me stuck too. So anyway, just a good place for us to check in, start thinking about, my friends, how I can best support you. And I'd love for you, if you'd like to come on live. Let's talk about, though, a really exciting announcement in the doTERRA world. Have you all seen the exciting announcement that's like getting a lot of buzz on social media from my doTERRA friends? Have you noticed? Have you seen it? Do you know what it is? Have you seen it? Some of you are putting it in the chat box. Yes, your convention. You guys, who's your keynote speaker at your convention this year? That is so super exciting. Yep. Mel Robbins, guys. Mel Robbins is speaking at the doTERRA Shine 2025 convention. How cool is that? I'm just curious, how many of you are coming, already know you're coming to convention? How many of you know that you're coming to convention? Okay, I love it. Brenda's coming, and Becky, and Paula, and Jeannie. Yes, Stephanie's coming. Andrea's coming. I love it. Some of you might be thinking about it. Shelley says, I am now. Nothing like a great, headliner to like, yep, move some people maybe off the fence. Really smart of doTERRA Corporate of, let's put a real heavy hitter on the lineup and let's tell them way ahead of time so they can make those plans. That's very smart on their part, isn't it? Yes, I'm glad many of you are coming, but to consider that. What I love about live events, again, as I was recently in Newport Beach speaking at an event, it's called Get Intentional. A gal named Angie Wisdom, she's a sharp, sharp woman, put together an event. And some of my favorite speakers that I just love, I've been on other platforms with them before. My good friend, Coach Dar, some of you have heard her speak. She's been in my world and community and my podcast. She's based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. She flew in and spoke as well. And my good friend Rudy Ritzkins from the East Coast, and him flying in. He's also been on my podcast. He also was part of the gratitude series last November. And so the four of us co-created, it was Angie's event. She booked us to speak, but it was so good, you guys, to just be in the room, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I love a Zoom. I love we're here, we're connecting, but like, just being in the room, being reignited in principles, pausing to get clear and clarity. And what am I creating to network with like-minded people? There were so many movers and shakers in that room, people doing really cool stuff in all different kinds of industries. And it was just the reminder of how powerful it is to be in the room. And so I'm going to say the same thing for your doTERRA convention, where you come and you learn and education, the science, and learning about the systems and the application of products for your own knowledge, let alone to share it with the people you're serving and supporting. But to also rub shoulders with like-minded, positive people. I mean, imagine if all of us were here in my living room this morning. I would love that, right? You wouldn't all fit, but it's like, it's like just spending time together in person, but then to also be inspired by people like a Mel Robbins, like your leadership team, like fellow leaders in doTERRA sharing their gems and their lessons and their struggles and how they've overcome. Like it's so powerful. It's one of those potent success hacks is to put yourself in the room, right? And yes, of course, joining virtual spaces as well and having those types of communities where you're regularly spending time with, thoughtful, positive, growth-oriented people. That's why I did create my Thrive community as well, was like, I want there to be an ongoing space of support, of content, community, connection, networking, where we're regularly pouring into on a weekly basis. Like that was the heartbeat for sure. So, but I was so excited for y'all to hear that news. I just smiled and thought, oh my goodness. Have you guys read her recent book that came out the end of December last year called The Let Them Theory? Many of you guys read or listened to that? I got it on Audible, so I listened to it pretty quickly. I listened to that back in January as it had just come out in the end of December. And it's a really great read and book around the concept of, again, how we often navigate in relationships and how we're showing up in relationships. And I just really, really loved, there was some good key takeaways that I thought was so good and so helpful. Let's see, my little mail is up. Okay, let's turn that off. There we go. But I just thought, gosh, I was so grateful to have read and listened to that and really received that. It reminds me, if you've ever read the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Have you ever read that book, The Four Agreements? Don Miguel Ruiz. And what I love about his material is in agreement number 2 is titled Don't Take Anything Personally. And so while Mel's book is different than that, it's the same, there's a similar vibe with that, where it's like, oh, that's right. Like how often a lot of my own emotional suffering is how often I'm taking things personally. Can we talk about that a little bit today? Is that a good topic to talk about? How many of you, if we're just telling the truth on a Wednesday, know that you get snagged, distracted, discouraged, like tripped up by sometimes taking things personally? Anyone else? Because I do, right? Like for sure, this is some of my own life work, which is why I was drawn to a book like that. How many of you, again, we take things so personal and therefore it creates stuff and drama and heartache for us, right? Yeah, lots of yeses. Okay. Thank you for, again, I just love it's like, oh, and for some of you, this may not be a big issue. Some of you, it's a major thing, and some of you, it's somewhere in between. But it's just this awareness, like how often that temptation or the hook, the baited hook of, I'm going to take this really personally, versus the awareness that it's like, no, I get to be more mindful of that, right? And how my own self awareness and self love and my own worth and how I'm showing up for myself, how sometimes we can get snagged that way. So again, I really loved her book, The Let Them Theory. It's a great read, maybe something that you read this summer if you haven't yet, before your convention that comes up in September. So anyway, that's exciting news in the doTERRA community. And to look at that conversation for ourselves might be something that, again, we practice. So let's transition and open it up to, I want to utilize the rest of our time to how can I best support you, whether it's social media, whether it's sales or branding, whether it's how do I interact with having a team or I'm stuck in some place or my own mindset. How can I best support you today? If you want to put that question in the chat box, feel free to do so. If you want to come on live, we can promote you up to a panelist and would love to see your face live. We can definitely do that too. So but yeah, how can I best serve and support you guys today? What's up for you? What do you need help with or support around? What are we going to work on today? And remember, I know some of you might be listening going, gosh, I don't want to take away time from someone else, or I feel nervous to ask this. Just realize, friend, your needs matter too. And you are welcome to absolutely your time and are worthy of time and space, as well as what most of you may have not always realized is that your share is pretty universal. Okay, Brenda says she has her hand up. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Well, there we go. Attendees. And Brenda, I'm going to just, I wonder if I can, oh, there she goes, I think. Okay, Brenda, you should be promoted to panelist.
Okay.
Hi, good morning.
Yay. Good
Share where
morning.
you're joining
I've
us
been in
from.
the garden today, so
Awesome. So share with
yeah.
us where you're joining from and then what's up for you.
So I am in Bluffdale, Utah, and yeah, so what's up for me is just a little bit more, I don't know, like I mean definitely mindset around um just feeling like okay, I keep trying to do it, but like there's part of me that's just still like I don't know, I'd rather blah blah blah, whatever. But anyway, I don't know what really how to just say what's up for me because I feel like um like I was thinking about what you were saying about nourishing the network and just hanging out with my people, which I totally love this idea, and it's very much more relaxing, and I've done a lot better in my business. I found in the past when I do stuff like go on vacation and forget about it. But then when I talk to people, they're like, but you really can't do that. So then I really don't do that. But then I just don't have any fun and I don't succeed. So that doesn't really feel fun.
Mhm. Okay, so what's the core
So
feeling that you're saying? It's like, what's the feeling that is up for you that's uncomfortable or that you're like, oh, I would like to see this shift?
just that maybe I'm doing it wrong, or yeah, a lot of it is just like I'm probably just not doing it right.
Not doing what right?
Not not building my business, not following up right. Like, I mean, the bottom line is like I'm back in the 6th grade and nobody likes me, which is just
Okay.
silly because people do, but still.
Yeah, let's breathe into that. There we go. I mean, gosh, I love some real talk and just like the real juice. And so sometimes how we're arriving there is I'm back in the 6th grade, no one likes me is the reach outs I'm doing might have a little bit of quiet, correct? Maybe you're not seeing is the issue people aren't responding?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lots of crickets kind of all over. And really truly too is like I don't like really I like, I mean, I share naturally when I share, but I don't like being in a position of like, who can I think of today? Like, I don't like
Mhm.
it. It makes me
Mm.
feel, I don't know. It makes me feel not real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I was talking to a girlfriend who I hadn't seen in a long time. I reconnected with her recently. She told me some stuff that was going on with her husband, and I said, "What supplements is he taking?" And I sent her a screenshot of the E Omega because of heart stuff. And she said, for 20 years, I finally got him to take a multivitamin, but I'm interested for me. And she wanted more stuff. So I sent her a class, an online, and I'll follow up with her and I'm going to see her this week. And that feels like totally fine.
Hmm.
But the
And
the part
what's,
that
and
feels,
what's, right, but they're the same thing. So what's the difference?
uh, I don't know, it feels more natural. It feels less, I don't know, contrived. Like I'm really a homebody and I don't want to do a ton of stuff, but I really like hanging out with the people that I want to hang out with.
Hmm.
I
Okay,
don't know
so
if
we've
that
got
makes
a
any
couple
sense.
of, yeah, it totally does. Cause I feel you. It's like, hey, I like to travel, but I'd rather be home. Like, hey, I like my home. I like my routines, these things. But we've got a couple beliefs there that I think are worth looking at. And I think they're very universal because they come up in every time I'm in coach mode in any with one-on-one or any group. And so the first one is let's look at is the intention like, oh, I don't want to feel salesy, right? How many of you can relate to Brenda saying, I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want to feel like it's contrived or I'm not genuine. Like how many of you relate to that? Yeah, see the chat box is starting to light up. Me, so relatable, 100%. But what if all of you just saw yourself as this person who was like, you just said you came in from the garden, you're just making deposits of light and love. So
Hmm.
again, I don't call sales calls. I call them connection calls. Write this from in your notes, everyone. Connection equals clients. Brenda, you can stay present with me and you can write notes later. But the point is connection is what creates growth and to be a connector and to make your businesses connection is the core. Essential oils and supplements and so forth are secondary. The products are always secondary. The connection is the heartbeat. But we also have no shame at all in sharing these products. Why? Because do these products help bless someone's life?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
So, but all you're doing is when I'm asking you to reach out to people or to ask yourself the question, who can I, connect with today? Who can I add some light to today? Don't you want to be? I want to be the kind of person that's like, I'm going to add light today. I'm going to show up on that doTERRA Share Success call. I am not paid to be here. And I'm going to just simply show up because I want to, because I love these people and I want to add light to them. It's joyful. Now,
Yeah.
I also told you about a community you can pay into and be part
Hmm.
of. And I have no shame in telling you guys that because the value you receive versus the payment. Yeah, I did tell you about that. But 100%, guess what? I'm just in the joy of being here with y'all that I want to add some value and add some light to your life. And so my intention is 100% genuine, as it is for you, is like, hey, who are 3 or 4 people I could connect with today or even this week that I'm going to reach out to? My next door neighbor, my friend from college, this friend, that friend. Someone just posted that, my goodness, they're going through so much stress or they're dealing with a recent diagnosis of something. Gosh, I wonder if I could help. Hey, I'm thinking of you. I'm da 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 da. Could I, and whether you drop some samples or you connect or you ask questions. But the point is part of it's like, let's clean up the belief and get really just clear about, do you believe in the products and services that you provide? Do they add value to people's lives?
Yeah.
All
I
of you
do.
already know this, right? Like, I am so grateful doTERRA came into my life like what, 14, 15 years ago. I can't believe
Same.
it's been that long. Aren't you so grateful? Like these
Yes.
products are on my skin. I fell asleep to cedarwood and lavender in my diffuser last night. I took an adaptive capsule that helps me sleep better. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. Some of the people in my network were like, Tiff, here, and how that started was Kelly King and I started coaching, and she gave me a box of oils as part of our coaching like trade. And I was so grateful. So the
That's
point
awesome.
is, are we in gratitude? Do these products, but I think all I'm doing for all of you is come into the intention because the intention behind, like, I don't want to contact people. I do, but I don't, but I don't want to be salesy. You're not being salesy. You're adding light to people's lives and just simply in connection. That's all you're doing, Brenda, is you're connecting. And you
Yeah.
can be a homebody and be a phenomenal connector. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, Ritz and glitz, and I got to be in Shanghai and I got to be in London and I got to go everywhere to be successful at this. No, to be successful is you have to give a damn about other people. That's it. And you
Well, my give
have
a
that.
damn is not broken. I do care.
See? So again, I'm just giving you guys some zest and a little fire. I mean, I'm a redhead. I've earned this. I know how to tap into that. But it's just to come into that true desire, which is I want to help more people be healthier and happier. Do you all want to do that? Do you want to be part of that mission? Yes. And therefore, we're focusing on connecting. Now, some people are going to ignore you. Okay. Some people are going to engage. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. And this is where the taking it personally that we've already talked about this morning can come up. There's plenty of times I'll put an offer out on my list, to my email list, or share on social, or even one-to-one. And many people will say, yes, I want to participate. Many people won't respond and they'll ignore it. But I'm going to keep showing up because it's lights me up and the adding of the value. But the point is like, what's my mind say? And what I loved was your tenderness because I'm her too, which is I'm back in the sixth grade and I don't feel very liked. I don't feel included. I don't feel popular. All of these thoughts where it's like, isn't that interesting as a grown woman who's just sharing what I'm up to? Can still feel those tenderness. And that's where we're going to be tender with her. We're not going to berate her. We're not going to get after and be harsh with sixth grade Brenda or sixth grade Tiff or sixth grade Ruth or Allison or Stephanie or Jennifer or Shelly or Michael or Chaz or who, insert your own name. Is you all have these tender feelings. But that's where we get the opportunity of the growth is like, oh, I see you. Okay. Yeah. And that's why I'm going to come back to you again and again. Like I'm on being firmed up in your mission and your purpose, right? And then it's like
Yeah.
whether some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting, but some aren't going to respond. And what if someone even said to you the thing you're afraid to hear, which is, gosh, I just feel like this is so salesy.
Oh yeah, I've had it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And
part of
look,
it because then it
you
just
live to
all is in
tell.
your head all the time. I
Yeah.
know. Well,
But
sort
see,
of,
you live
right?
to tell, you're still here. But the fear is like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think of me? How often is that thought running all of our lives? What are they going to think of me? What if, what if, what if? And it's like, oh, the book I'm listening to right now in Lifetime, in case any of you are interested, what I'm actively listening to, I'm listening to a book by Kathy Heller, Heller, and it's called Abundant Ever After. Just because I have an Audible subscription, right? And I'm regularly, and I've been seeing a few folks post this book and I've been listening to that. The point of why I'm telling you that is it's not necessarily new, it's just fresh and reminding me. She's sharing about how her own success and how then she put on this weight and she was fearful. And then she got really clear about the weight was, I'm just trying to be more relatable because I'm successful and I'm thriving and I don't want to be judged. And what will people think? And will I sound salesy? And but again, the core wound is the fear, I should say, the core fear is what will people think of me? And the fear of what if I'm not liked?
Yeah.
If I'm not liked. And maybe again, we take off of the altar, the pedestal that we might be tempted to worship, that everyone likes me and I create harmony. No, it's like, what if it's more about impact and real relationships? Like this girlfriend you're helping with her husband, it's like, oh, and it's not about, hey, I don't, the energy. I don't care if anyone likes me. Everyone cares. It's more of the
Right.
energy of like, I can be true to myself and I have beautiful relationships and I care about making an impact and I'm going to find my core people. Imagine if Natalie and Andy Goddard were still trying to make sure everyone liked them because everyone hasn't liked them on their path. I've gotten to walk the path intimately with them all of these years. Not
Yeah.
everyone's like them. They've been judged. They've been, criticized. They've been through a lot of those things that were like, but the purpose is bigger than the fear of what will others think. And here's the real truth. Most people, guess what? They're not thinking about you anyway.
I know. That's really true. And
That's
it's
just
kind
the
of,
like,
just like so up in my own business, thinking I'm all that people even care.
right. And I say that just to normalize. Are there people that care about you? Absolutely.
Of
But
course.
it's
Yeah.
like this is just this mind garbage that sometimes it's just this like, it's Oz, right? And the wizard is like holding behind this big, creating this big ruckus and fire and flames and oh my gosh, ah, where it's just like creating all of this stuff that's really not even that real. Now, will there be a handful of folks that, yeah, that might judge you or have feedback or comments if, you're out and about, large and in charge, making things happen? Sure. But guess what? Like the reality is most people, guess who they're thinking about? Themselves. And they're also
And they're,
likely thinking,
they're
gosh, what do people think about me? They're not over there
right.
like, I can't believe Brenda's selling essential oils. Like they're not thinking that. They're just not giving it, they're just not often paying attention. But the more that you're willing to show up, nourish your connections, share, and be like, okay, I really care about helping people be healthier and happier. And I'm working on that myself. Then you have some more, again, you will have people that when the timing is aligned for them, hey, Brenda, could you help me with this? Could you help me with
That
that?
actually happened to me this year too. Or just like a couple months ago, I had a gal come up to me at church and she was just like, my energy is so bad. And I just think you have something that could help me. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she's
Mhm.
loving it. She feels way better. So yeah, I think that's, I think that's really true. I think, I noticed also in my garden. So last year I had whooping cough at this time of year and I didn't do any gardening because I was sick for like the whole 8 weeks and then it was like blazing hot. Um, so this year I have to like figure out all the stuff again and just be like, okay, everything's kind of a crazy wreck. So I thought a lot about years ago, you had a video, and I don't know if it's still on your website somewhere of the like you won't be denied the harvest. When you put in the work for that. And then the other piece of it has been just so powerful of just like, just go out and do something, do one thing that stays done. Nothing really stays done, but like one thing that you have to do to, to move the next thing. If you can just do one thing each day that will kind of open that up. And I've realized also that like, I mean, some of my potatoes, I planted some potatoes last fall in the hopes that they would grow, and some of them have. And then I got the corn planted, and then I started having more vision because of, being able to put the things in. And this morning I cleaned off the bean fence um of all the stuff, and now I'm ready, ready to plant the beans. But each area of my garden, as I've looked at it, and I really have been like, I mean, I've had so much struggle with my health, and we have this beautiful property, but it requires a lot of work, and my weed eater wasn't working. And thankfully my grandson is out of school now, and he solved it for me yesterday and got, all the things done. But anyway, the whole point of me telling you this is that as I have, kind of felt this, it's not really the same thing as like the sixth grader, but it's that feeling of like I'm doing it wrong, or I'm not doing enough, or I can't keep up, or whatever. And just seeing the help come in, and then also just recognizing that one piece at a time. And then when you put those seeds in and they start to grow, they start to displace the weeds. Even if I can't get all the weeds out, if I can get enough out to get the thing working. And I've thought a lot about like mindset and how true that is, of like putting in the good thoughts and hopefully starting to displace some of those other ones,
Mhm.
because like, where is my mind actually focused, you know?
Mhm. So true. And thank you for that reminder. And just again, these are practices and how we practice showing up for ourselves and what we're planting. And I do love a girlfriend of mine was sharing this last week on our Instagram stories. And she was also at our little gathering Monday as well. And we were talking about how her thing is, I just have to fill up one bucket of weeds a day in her garden. And then was like, isn't that so true? And one of the things I know about happiness is progress.
Yeah.
Progress versus the perfectionistic thinking. Progress equals happiness, literally. Like I'm even going to put that in the little chat box. It's like progress equals happiness. And that's true as we work on our mindset, as we work on our physical garden, as we work on our business garden, seeing your business like a garden. I love, I'm not the best gardener for sure, but like I love being out there and like with the plants and the flowers and the veggies and it's just like the nourishing, but
Yeah.
seeing it's focusing on progress for all of you. So get intentional, friends, is the point of what I want all of you to take away from today is, okay, I'm going to be intentional about my own wellness habits, my own mindset habits, my own
Yeah.
physical gardening, where I'm going to garden a bucket of weeds a day. I don't have to do the whole garden. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to make progress with it. I don't may not be where I want to be with my own health or weight or with my clutter. Some of you are taking on decluttering. It's not about, oh, I get this perfect, but I'm going to make progress. I'm going to put in 2 hours, an hour this day and an hour this day between now and Sunday before June 1st and declutter my space. I'm going to work with these types of things. I love what Ashley's putting in the chat box around inner child wounds that she talks about and how you speak to yourself. I'm going to be intentional about that, right? I'm going to be intentional about nourishing and reaching out to other people and the potency of, working of how powerful that can be. Because see, sometimes again, friends, is where we get stuck, where we get challenged is we literally, it's like, I've got to do it perfect. I've got to do the eating plan perfect or the working out perfect or the business building perfect or none at all. It gets very black and white, right? Can you relate to that? Versus, no, I'm going to
Mhm.
make progress of, hey, I'm going to move my body today. I'm going to put a bucket of weeds together today. I'm going to contact or reach out and just let 3 people know I'm thinking of them just to nourish, right? And then if the conversation grows into, hey, how are you and what are you navigating? Oh, my allergies have been terrible. Okay, I have something if you're interested, I could support you with that. But we're just going to be about making progress and making those connections.
Love
Fair?
it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think, again, that's part of being kind to that self of what you're talking about. I also love the law of the harvest. I put that video in the chat box as well, but we
Thank
created
you.
that many years ago. I'm
Hmm.
definitely baby Tiff in that video. Like it's young baby Tiff, but it's the same, just as potent teaching that the harvest cannot be prevented. That what we're planting and nourishing on a regular basis will bloom into fruit. It is, it's law. It's like, oh, I'm planting and nourishing this perfectly, no, but fairly like I'm consistent or I'm committed to it. That harvest is coming. It's only timing as we plant those seeds and we work on those things. Yeah, so it's so potent. Crystal, I love that too. She says, I love the idea of every weed I pull in the garden. I'm thinking of a limiting belief that I'm pulling from my mindset every day. It's true. The weeds do return. That's natural law. They do. And we weed them, but also give energy to what you're proactively planting and wanting to see come into fruition. So, Brenda, thank you for sharing and being courageous to put yourself out there today. I love that.
Thank you.
Practice these next few days. You guys, I'll be back with you next Wednesday and we'll be working on kicking off a new month. And then I saw another question in here from Jeannie and Laura Ann. If you guys want to bring these questions first thing next Wednesday, would love to support you around your social media presence and how to help be more intentional of how to make that be more of a lead gen, making more opportunities start to show up from that. That'd be great. And Jeannie, talking about working with your team, please bring those questions next week. Happy to support you guys. Have a beautiful last few days of May. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, being intentional. And I'll see you guys here next Wednesday. I'll be back with you again next Wednesday as we lead into June. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everyone. I'll see you guys next week.